No matter if Bitcoin is pumping, dumping, or going sideways, if you watch this video through to the end, you will find some huge alpha in how to formulate your own plan in order to buy your first cryptocurrencies. Or if you were in the space for some time and you're looking for some extra information on filling out your plan, you can find that right here. So make sure you've hit the subscribe button with bell notification icons, click all so you can see more of this content pop up in your newsfeed, and also hit that like button if you find some value from the content, because in this video, we're looking at how to purchase these cryptos, why we're choosing particular cryptocurrencies. It's going to be a full reasoning, my reasoning on how I look for cryptocurrencies, on what I would buy now with the knowledge I have and the knowledge that I didn't have. And then also this is a fast planning guide for you to be able to create your own plans. If you haven't noticed already, this is not going to be your typical, what do I buy with $1,000 and just go out and buy those cryptos? Because at the end of the day, you will probably lose all of that money if you were just listening to some random on the internet without formulating your own plan. As Robert Kiyosaki says, it's not how much money we make, it's how much we keep. It's not only that, it's how hard that money works for you and how many generations you keep it for. Now, everyone's going to have different goals when it comes to what they do with their money. And I know you just want to come and look for that $1,000 to invest and buy whichever cryptocurrency. So if that's you, check out the timestamps in the description down below to check out what it is that I am looking at. But this is all the reasoning part, and I promise you, you'll find far more value in the reasoning than just looking at the cryptocurrencies. If you are interested in learning how to invest for yourself long term, then check out our Patreon down below. We also have a premium members course that you can learn about trading and investing. All the links to this will be in the top of the description. Plus, I'll leave the links to everything that I'm talking about in today's video in the video description, itemized for you as well. So let's start. And the way I've broken this down is a noob investor and what I've called a degen investor, or someone that has been in the space just a little bit longer. So I'm going to assume a lot of things here because I don't know who is watching this video. So I'm going to make a few suggestions for different types of investors, and it's going to come down to you to figure out which sort of investor you are, and you have to be pretty honest with yourself. Otherwise, the market will wreck you. All right, so for a noob investor, I'm going to say it's a new investor in cryptocurrency, mid-2021 to now. You got no skill, no time, no entry or exit plan. $1,000 means a lot to you. No profits yet. Maybe you've had some losses. You got in mid-2021 and you've seen the market go down. Your risk tolerance is high, but you don't know where to begin. You don't know where to start investing. You're unsure when the market will end. We don't know when the bull market will end, and you've got no idea in sight. That'll be highly emotional when the market is volatile. So you'll probably be very high on emotions, and we're all like that. And even the long-term investors are also like that. But the point to reduce the emotions is to have a plan that is. Unrealistic expectations, probably something like a 5 to 20x. And that is my opinion, of course, because as I said in the video title, this is what I would be looking at in the terms of what I know now from being in the market for several years. Personally, from this point, I think for someone that was new, just starting out, I think 20x is probably unrealistic. However, it's not unrealistic for everyone, and if you put the time in, you can definitely easily earn 20x. And you can see that on my Instagram. If you follow that down below, I post about my retirement fund, which is all in cryptocurrency at the time of this video, and it's done very, very well. Starting with SEXs and mobile apps. So that's just centralized exchanges. You'll be starting with centralized exchanges like Binance. If you're international, anyone can use this. There's a link to it in the description down below. For the Aussies, you've got SwiftX. Again, link to this down below for $10 of free Bitcoin, and something like CoinSpot as well. Again, $10 free Bitcoin if you sign up with these exchanges. Personally, I would sign up with all of them. You also get 10% off trading fees with the link down below for Binance. And then you got yourself $20 of free Bitcoin just for signing up with these two centralized exchanges in Australia. The reason why I bring these up is that they all have mobile apps as well. So that's super easy. Now onto the degen player, and they're new to crypto in 2020 or early 2021. So if you're watching this somewhere in 2022 or beyond, just picture yourself of where you are positioned in the market. So you might have some skill because you've been here for several months or to a couple of years, willing to dedicate some more time to the market. You got no entry plan or exit plan, maybe something in your mind, but nothing really written down. $1,000 is great. You don't want to lose it, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that much to you. Now, this is really important because the emotions start to come into the play when the market heats up a lot. And if you're watching this while the market's heated, you probably know what I'm talking about. Maybe you got some profits, maybe you're at break even, so you're wanting to make a little more money here. Risk tolerance is high. Finding some alpha okay on social, so you're able to do that. You're able to find where you're going to get this information. And you know that there is an end at the end of a boom. You know the end is coming to the market at some point. You're not in a fantasy space where you believe that there is no end to the market. And this is, again, important for the plan in order to be able to throw your $1,000 in and get those returns. Because if you're investing $1,000, you probably want to make some returns after that. You're not just throwing $1,000 into the market for the sake of it. Maybe you are. All right, we'll all still be highly emotional when the market gets super hot and also when it crashes. The emotions will be running really, really high. Reasonable expectations. So you've been through a cycle and you have an idea that yes, there is 10s, 20s, 50x's out there. But if you want to walk away with something, maybe you just reassess that 2 to 5x, take some profits, and then let some of the other profits ride as well. And I'm mentioning this because that is going to come into play with which cryptos we look at. You're also comfortable with using centralized exchanges, mobile apps, and of course, decentralized exchanges as well. So are the 10 to 100x's still possible? Yes, I will mention a few in just a moment in terms of the areas that I would be looking for these 100x's. I would definitely be reassessing my skill level if I'm aiming for that 100x, and also understanding how much time it takes if I want to get to that 100x. From my experience and from people I've spoken with, probably 4 to 6 hours per day to research, but that's mainly going to come down to your understanding and learning about trading, because you need to be trading these things. You need to have some money management. You need to have some risk management as well. You got to understand when to get out, how much you can let this thing ride to a loss before you can possibly see some returns. All those sorts of things take time, and that's part of investing and trading experience, not only how to research to get NFTs. And I say NFTs because that's generally where these big 10 to 100x's are at the moment, but I do have a few other ideas as well. And those are ICOs, newly listed projects with little trading history, and pumpermentals with low caps. So projects that have the pump ability, like your NFT platforms. Maybe you have some ICOs which are really, really low that are coming out on some of these launch pads on Polkadot or Binance, or any of those new projects, Solana, AVAX. And what I'm talking about here is some of these ICOs or IDOs are launching at a market cap of $70,000 or $100,000 or $200,000. My understanding is most of these are probably going to be pump and dumps. I don't think anything is really going to be built from them, but the returns will be easily 100x on these cryptocurrencies. If we find a cryptocurrency IDO that is at a market cap of $70,000, if it gets to a 7 million market cap valuation, there's the 100x straight up. And these do exist out there, but like I said earlier, it's going to take time to find it and then create your networks in order to keep finding these cryptocurrencies. Plus, you can jump onto the IDO websites and then start to learn which ones might pump a little harder than the others. So the really, really low market cap stuff may pay off and get those 100x's in this current environment. How many cryptocurrencies should we hold? This is pretty important. I say 1 to 3, and why? Because I think any more than that, it's probably going to kill our gains. If we start spreading $1,000 between $50 here, $50 there, in order for that to get a 10x, it's only going to make you $500. It's not really life-changing money for most of us here, and don't mean to pick on anyone that thinks 500 is a life-changing amount of money, but pretty much anywhere across the world, $500 is not really going to get us to where we want to go. And so if we do want to gamble a lot of that $1,000, we'd probably want to keep it less diluted. So we want to keep it strong in just a few positions and then let those positions ride. That's part of our money management. I can hear you all at the other side of the screen now. Screw it. Stop wasting my time. Just tell me which cryptos to buy now and at any point in the future. So this is how and why I'm looking at them. Just like I've mentioned about the IDOs and finding those really low market cap cryptos, not all of them are going to work out. Some of them will probably be scams. Most of them will probably be scams. And that $200, $300, $400 is probably gone. but good thing is you can make that money back. Now let's break down each of the investors. And the first is the noob, conservative. Maybe start with the top 10, maybe the top 20, looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and something a little more higher risk, still in that top 20 area, something like ADA, Sol, Dot, Luna, because they have the pumpermentals, they have those ecosystems, they have big social networks, they have NFTs coming, they have DeFi, they have all of this pumpermental stuff that is coming or is already on the platform. So that's why as a conservative play, I'd at least fill up my bags of Bitcoin and Ethereum because these are known as blue chips now. And then I would look to risk some of my $1,000 on something else, which is not 100% proven yet, unlike Bitcoin and Ethereum. And that's why I would break this part of the portfolio down, or at least the conservative part, into around 400 for Bitcoin, 400 for ETH, and 200 for one of these other projects. Maybe even go 300, 300, 400 if you want to be a little more on that riskier side. If $1,000 means a lot to you, if $1,000 doesn't mean too much, then you can basically break it down however you see fit. And of course, just looking at the upper end, the lower market caps in the top 20, this is going to be a higher risk play, but potentially higher rewards. Now I'm going with the DGen, the medium risk investor, finding something in the top 100, and we're looking at narratives. Some of these might be a little more challenging to buy, but you can see from what I've picked here, these will all be on centralized exchanges. So if you are looking to something that is in the top 100 that might not be on a centralized exchange, then you're going to have to learn how to use decentralized exchanges as well. And for me, the centralized options, the centralized exchange coins, I'm looking at as FTT and CRO. And you can find these on the centralized exchanges that I listed earlier in the video, your Binances, your SwiftXs, and your CoinSpots. All the links are down below. You can sign up with those. DeFi stuff, you got Aave and Link. They've been proven now. They've got a lot of network effect. And so they might not be super, super high risk, but they're still a little risky because they're not exactly there like Bitcoin or Ethereum. NFT stuff, Engine and Chiliz, these are known stuff, but they've had a big pump and they need to come back from a correction and a consolidation period. So make sure you always check the charts as well. So this is my medium-term play. I could mix this up with something else as well, which we'll look at. And mixing that up is something conservative and something from the medium risk. So the blue chips, for me, as I said, this is where I would be putting the $1,000, knowing what I know now and knowing how much time I have and how much skill I want to put into the game, knowing that I want to do other things in life. I would be going with Bitcoin and Ethereum and then gambling with the other third if I wanted to use this conservative cross medium risk scenario. Now, for all the super hardcore degens out there that want the 100x returns, this is probably what you've come to the video for. This is the stuff that I would be looking for if I want to gamble that $1,000 away, knowing that I would probably lose the whole lot or feel comfortable with losing the whole lot. What I know now, it requires a lot of hours. So I need to be going through Twitters, I need to be going through Discord, checking out their websites, understanding of the DEXs and transfers off centralized exchanges as well. Reason for this is where I'll be doing my research, looking at Twitter, finding Twitter accounts, then going to the Discord, talking with the CEOs or the devs of the projects that we're looking at here in terms of maybe NFTs or NFT platforms. And the first one I have here is EFI. It's currently sitting at $42 million. This does not mean it will go to 100x or even 10x because it has had a pretty hard time at the moment. It has dumped pretty hard from its highs. Affinity is currently sitting at 42.7 million. It's ranked 591. So we're going well and truly outside the top 200 here. Notice the fully diluted market cap is 1.5 billion as well, which means there are a lot of coins that are still locked up somewhere, maybe with the team, and this could come onto the market very quickly, and that could really wipe out the project as well. So you've got to keep all of that in mind. So this project had been down at around 80 cents, and we're currently still sitting close to 80 cents. That just means that it might need a lot more time to consolidate. Now, what is Affinity? Like I mentioned, I'm always looking for stuff that has some pumpermentals going on. Affinity has been built with Engine, so Engine's in the NFT space. It's also built on Polkadot, and of course, it's NFTs, Engine, Polkadot's pumpermentals as well. This has the potential. Doesn't mean it will get there. And the nice thing is that it has a low market cap as well. So even if I got a 10x from this, it's not doing too bad. I throw $300, maybe I end up with 3,000 from that point. The other thing I look for is new projects. under 200 million market cap, and under 50 million is better. That's why I've got EFI here. And I did hear about it online a fair bit. It had a bit of talk and chatter, so maybe that'll come back again at some point in the future, and I have to be patient. Pumpermentals, the pumpable ecosystems, DOT, Solana, ADA, AVAX, there are a few of these out there. Now, if it's not an NFT, something else I'm looking at are football fan coins. So PSG, 75 million market cap. We've talked about ICOs or IDOs, so initial DEX offerings under 2 million market caps. I've seen them as being mostly pump and dumps. They have a beautiful looking white paper, which is essentially just the paperwork that they can then use as marketing to tell people this is what we want to do, this is why we're going to succeed, etc. So under that 2 million market cap, obviously has a much easier chance of going a 10x to a 20 million market cap or 100x to a 200 million market cap. Big point here is do not fall in love with your shitcoins. They're all shitcoins at the end of the day. 99.99% of them are probably going to fail really, really badly, and you want to take some profits and walk away from it. That's the biggest thing here. Remember to always hit it and quit it. So that's the plan there, guys. I've broken those down into a few different sections so that you can come back to it and write yourself out a plan. I've given you a bit of an idea of the timing that is required, where to go and search for these cryptocurrencies, and the amount of energy that is going to be necessary. So you're going to have to come up with your own plan to decide which sort of investor you want to be. Do you want to risk it on something like this? Or do you want to go back to something that is a little easier, or mix the two up and have something conservative cross medium? It comes down to your time and how much energy you're willing to put in. And I don't want to discourage anyone from giving it a go, because anyone can really have a crack at the 100x stuff. You just have to be committed to it. And so once you have committed to it, you're actioning your plan, maybe you've got some profits afterwards, you probably want to safely store this stuff. And just quickly, I'll mention Legend Nano X. I'll leave a link to this down below. Check it out if you want to start storing some of your Bitcoin and Ethereum. That is a good place to start, because you don't want to just leave all your money on centralized exchanges. It's a very risky thing to do. Plus, while you're there, probably have to pay some taxes at some point. So start with Coinly so you can track all of these transactions going left, right, and center. And Coinly tracks just about everything there. It's got Binance, SwiftX, and CoinSpot, like I mentioned, plus plenty of US, European, UK, Asian exchanges as well. Again, link to this is down below. So this is to hopefully set you up in a good, positive, successful way for your first $1,000. It's all the sort of stuff that I wish I knew when I was starting out as well. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this is not your typical, here's what to buy with $1,000. I want you to be able to walk away with some sort of basic structure to a plan so that you can apply this later on when you want to go out and buy yourself some more cryptocurrencies with the next $1,000 that you get. As for the noob, what they want, most people come here because they want 10 to 100x. If you have zero skill in investing, zero skill in trading, zero skill in buying and selling and transferring in cryptocurrency, zero skill in understanding cryptocurrency, maybe 100x is probably out of the question. Maybe even 10x is out of the question. Making 100%, which is your 2x, is wild. You wouldn't really get that in the stock market or property or anywhere else. So personally, I like to bring it down a little bit and look at it conservatively, because like I said, knowing what I know now, I think these are pretty good returns at this stage in the market as well. If we're at the absolute bare lows when everyone has walked away, then probably go for that 10, 20, 50x. Definitely we could be looking for that, maybe even 100x, like we saw with ADA from early 2020 to where we currently sit. What should they be aiming for? 2 to 5x. And you can see from the degens, I'm thinking something similar as well. Maybe we're looking for a 5 to 20. Maybe let's walk away with 2 to 5, and we still can keep some of our portfolio there to go for that 10 to 20x as well. But really, my goal is to always walk away with some sort of profits. I don't want to come here, waste all my time, and end up with nothing. So what strategy would I pick? Well, I would go for the degen medium risk play here. And why is that? Well, because it's got to do with my time, my costs, and that includes my time, like how much is my time worth, the ease of how easy it is to set up and then also manage ongoing, and then the risk to reward. I think we're still reasonably early in order to get a very sizable reward for a small risk. So you're probably asking, well, which coins would I pick? Well, if I'm just going for 3, the easiest thing in this medium risk play is Bitcoin and Ethereum, of course. Then the third one, I would probably be looking at something like FTT at the moment, potentially Solana as well. FTT just has a lower market cap at the moment, and I would be watching the charts. If you want to go for something higher risk and just gamble that $300-400. Maybe something like an EFI, because it's a $42 million market cap. If we can get a 10x from it, great. You know, that sort of sets me in motions to take some profits and then try again at a future date. And finally, if you did find some value, hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel, bell notification icon, and of course, follow us on Instagram and on Twitter for daily crypto updates. And if you want to learn more, jump across to Patreon as well. The link to all of this is in the top of the description down below. So the last things I'll leave you with are, do not fall in love with your shitcoins. Yes, most of these things will be shitcoins. Don't fall in love with them. Get your profits, move on, enjoy the profits in real life. Don't just enjoy it online, pumping up coins. It's not what we make, it's what we keep. Always remember that. You can have a ton of money in paper profits looking at it on your mobile app, but it depends on how much you actually keep. Be honest with yourself, because you will find out very quickly if you are not. And always have a plan. Otherwise, someone else will have one for you. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much. Like, share, subscribe. Follow us Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon down below. See you at the next video. Until then, have more fun to get more done.